Alrighty, everyone. Well, welcome back to the live streams. In today's live stream, what is the date? It is the 21st of February, 2024. Bitcoin is at $52,000 and 338. Sorry, $52,338. What do we have ETH at? ETH is at 3K, still absolutely flying. Why is my Bitcoin stuck on that price? What is going on there? Just Bybit just not want to activate trades or something? What's going on here? Anyways, we can deal with Bybit a bit later. Maybe their order book's frozen. Um, but we'll run through everything today. I've got a number of charts to go through. Obviously, Craig wants to see Tia. Tony, I'll go over the FET hedge idea, ILV, Rick IMEX, Bob Malich, Knackers, ARB, and Andrew Cadena. Given this is a market update, we might as well run through everything kind of, well, market wide. But obviously, what I like to do first is, as you guys know, start with the DXY, which represents the USD. We have a large inverse relationship with this market because of various reasons that you can look at on the course once again. But I've obviously gone over this time and time again on the live streams. But the DXY has developed a really strong downtrend, obviously, since this kind of bull market's ensued. We've obviously got stock markets at all-time highs and Bitcoin currently pressing towards its all-time highs in line with ETH. And really, you can see the product of the DXY downturn from, the beginning or the end of 2022 and the upturn from October, September 2022 for the stock markets. The relationship's really clear. But in any case, we have this kind of ascending structure, which actually probably looks a bit better on daily, I think. But I'm trying to kind of discount this as a little fake out, which we actually briefly, I want to see regular. Yeah, if we bring the it's more like that. I like to put that pivot. We had a huge golden pocket retracement, obviously, which fell in line, with this perfect line of horizontal support. We re-rallied up to the 5.0 fib where we failed to close over. And as I've kind of relayed in past market updates, it's because of the fundamentals of the DXY and the USD and how it's based on monetary and fiscal policy in the United States. Obviously, what happened here, as I explained, is that interest rates got pushed back to getting cut from March to June-ish. Now we've topped out on this technical trend line, which is really good to see. Because I kind of envisioned that if we reclaimed it, we can start to kind of develop bullish market structure, but it kind of didn't make sense to me that that was ever going to happen technically because I know rate cuts are coming. I don't really understand the stupidity behind the USD and why you'd ever be a buyer here if you know those facts, but obviously, that's based on people trying to front run the idea that, maybe there's a recession coming and the US dollar gravitates upwards as opposed to downwards. But in any case, it's a quick overview, brief overview for those that need to be reminded of what the DXY does and what it's currently doing. Given that we are seeing further downturn in it, I'm going to plan for this channel to break. And ultimately, I wanted to see these lows swept on the DXY. The very defined lows here and very defined low here. Maybe a swing failure type setup. I don't really know. I don't really trade forex. I use this to guide my stocks and my stock trading and my crypto trading. Obviously, this might be something that interests someone like Craig that I know trades forex, or a few of you that do trade forex. We can go to the great AUD. Yeah, I'm not going to make too many comments here. Maybe comments for Cal in order to have more favourable power bills, but the AUD is honestly the biggest shitcoin I think I've ever come across. I actually can't believe how poorly it performs in terms of other other currencies. But what I would say to those that are actually highly concerned with the AUD, or you want to chart the AUD and you want to understand it more, um, what I, had to come to realize, and what's actually a glaringly obvious thing with the AUD is that, I was trying to read a lot into the fiscal and monetary policies of Australia, given that obviously that would impact our dollar and whatnot, but it's so heavily dependent on the Chinese yen. So you need to actually get a thorough understanding of the yen and what's happening with their monetary and fiscal policy in their economy. There's such a large amount of our GDP and our exports are obviously based off sending it to China. So highly important if you want to interpret the AUD that you're interpreting the yen correctly. I'll just add that. But moving on, the S&P 500 and the ES, which is obviously futures, have had a bit of a coolback. I'm going to guess this is from it's purely an oscillator standpoint. yeah, I kind of made the point, when we get these, high kind of RSI oscillators that, yeah, we've made a bearish cross to. I'm pointing out key other times where we've topped out, slightly and come back down. And really, it's just a momentum thing. Markets are going up and up and up, but they've got to have cool-offs. You can see each kind of time it's breaching over bought territory. It kind of cools off a bit. We see a bit of a pullback, but I'm not surprised to see these markets up only if you're a part of the trading academy or. Sorry, I was just taking a drink. Any part of my early analysis, I was pretty much the only person I could remember, uh, saying that stock markets would go to all-time highs pretty soon, and they did. Funnily enough, I remember having a conversation with Malcolm and floating that theory, and it wasn't too well received. But anyways, at all-time highs now, so I guess I win. Um, but in any case, these are looking really strong. At the moment, I'm not really charting these too much, and I'm not really focusing on them. I did usually in the bear market to pick our crypto bottom. For now, we've kind of decorrelated. But we will kind of move slowly with them, I guess. But these are still 3 to 5% above all-time highs, so they're still looking really healthy. I will quickly touch on Tesla because I wanted to fill this gap entirely and maybe present a take profit in this kind of 207 area if we fully filled this gap, but we only kind of nudged into it and rejected hard, which I don't really like seeing too much. Oh, sorry if you guys have been asking me or making comments. He's one of only pessimistic stock focus. Never bullish. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Probably been through too many bear markets, that's why, Cal. um, but yeah, I'm guessing by the age. Well, I'm already pretty much a perma bear. Not a perma bear, but I seem to be more bearish than most people in crypto when it comes to assessing the market. I reckon when I'm 50, I'm going to be that grumpy old bear that's telling everyone to shut up. But, anyways, yeah, the stocks are looking really good. What I will add is actually, I just want to go to a weekly to see how overextended these truly are. It's probably smarter to look at this on a weekly as opposed to a daily. You can see how really overextended this is by RSI, right? So if we go to the weekly, it's probably a bit more clear. Last time we made a bearish cross and we were on oversold territory on RSI. We pulled back, a good healthy, negative 11.5%. The S&P, that's a big pullback. I'm just noticing other times this happens. Obviously here is the last of the weekly where it really occurs. And you got that last bearish cross on, what the fuck, man? Sorry, and you got that last kind of bearish cross on MACD. And you can see the results and what happened when the weekly on the stock market's overextended. But at the moment, I think. Oh wow. Oh shit. Well, you know what the good thing about that is at least OBS was recording it the whole time. Oh fuck. Okay. Oh shit. Sorry everyone. I've been drawing things on my chart this entire time. At least you can pre-watch the first 5 to 10 minutes on OBS on the recording. Sorry, so let me restart on the stock market just there as I was explaining. I had no idea. I was drawing a lot of things on the. Sorry, I'll quickly go back to the DXY just to show you quickly what I was talking about. I was explaining that. So we've topped out at this trend line. As you can see, I thought we'd make bullish market structure. We're not going to because rate cuts will come soon. Rejecting this downtrend, I expect us to lose this channel eventually. That's 4 years long now that we did fake out of, and I expect to break below it soon and see where these lows are swept at this major golden pocket that we bounced from prior in this bear market. Yes, that's true somewhat, Andrew. It depends what markets you're talking about, but initially a pivot or rate cuts is actually usually very bullish in the medium to short term, short to medium term, because cutting rates obviously means it's cheaper to borrow, so everyone starts borrowing funds again, over leverage. Tech stocks pump usually a lot. As does crypto and altcoins because they're the most risk-on assets, right? And then Yeah, but eventually the result is quite dire, and I think this one may be a lot worse, Andrew, because of how bad inflation's been, and if they try to cut too quickly, then we'll get a deflationary bust, something of the likes of 1930. But I'm not going to scare people too much with that theory. But let's see what happens. I know you're a bit of a bear, Andrew, and you like following your bears on Twitter, so I'm sure they've got a lot to say. If you've been listening to that crypto savvy guy, he's just been telling you it for the last 3 years and been wrong for 3 years straight. So. Um, yeah. But sorry, let's do XY. So what I want to see in the short to medium term towards that May, June area, maybe when we are fucking flying in crypto, is seeing these lows swept here. You see very defined lows on the DXY that head right into this major GP, and this a line of horizontal thing. Could be a swing failure type setup, but that's what I'm looking for on the DXY in the long term. That's my long term outlook. That 100 to 99 level. As I mentioned, sorry, I was showing you when the stock markets are oversold on the weekly that we should look at. It's a bit different to the daily. I thought I was recording and showing you, but bearish cross on MACD. You can see price action how it corresponds with oversold. And so what I'm wary of now, right, is that recently, well, not recently, July last year, we reached this point. We came down 11.5% on the S&P or so after reaching oversold on RSI and putting in another bearish cross on MACD. Now, we haven't done that yet here, but what's happening is we're in oversold, so it might be that we trade here and this eventually crosses and then we get a momentum swing. But in any case, I think it's important to understand that, yeah. Oh, that's a good point, Andrew. I remember I tried to drill in this point to you, a lot. I think we spoke about it a lot in the general chat and the live stream, but I tried to really push the point to you to not listen to those Twitter influencers because their job and the way they make money is they grift on Twitter, and the best form of engagement on Twitter, because majority lose, majority are sidelined, and majority need the market to come lower. Uh, the bearish posts get the most engagement, so they have to bearish post in order to have any form of popularity on Twitter. And my best guess is they don't have much popularity in real life, so the whole kind of deal is to just bear post on Twitter. And funnily enough, with these Twitter guys, is they prefer to be right than making money. All of you know about Capo. I don't need to explain it, but this guy is the most followed Twitter chartist TA person. I've never seen someone be so categorically wrong for 3 years straight. Still get the most engagement, still get the most follows, still be calling for 10k when we're at 52k Bitcoin, and he was calling for 10k at 15k. So really just should show you broadly all that you need to know. Um, but yeah. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, I got to Tesla, I think, in the end. I was saying on the weekly, the daily, we got a huge gap that I wanted to see filled. We kind of nudged into it, but nothing to die here. I'm not panicking on Tesla as such. It was only a 1% risk, a normal swing trade for me. Obviously, it was as clean as it came, really, because my validation was clear below the GP. I waited and waited. I sent this chart out for weeks, and we obviously got that trigger right into the 618. Beautiful rally. That's a great trade to scalp at least, and then we're kind of seeing post below these lows that I want to see reclaimed. But I'll keep an interesting watch on Tesla. I'm not once again. I said I'm only risking 1%, same as what I'd risk on any crypto trade. So my validation's 168. We haven't been that low since mid last year. So it'll be interesting to see. But maybe Tony can give me some more pointers on how Tesla's tracking. But I'll quickly take a look at some other stocks. Mara has absolutely been crunched after rallying. I'm going to actually look for some retracement ideas on these stocks, as I planned for everyone to trade this at here. BingX don't have Marathon. It's what I wanted us to all trade it on. I don't know too many people that can pick a stock that rallied 2x in a week. We trade crypto. This is this is a stock. So we could have traded that. It's so unfortunate, but I'm hoping to get them added. I asked if they could. As I said, I'm their business product manager right now, so I'll probably be hired by them next week. But different retracement ideas now. Given that we traded off this pivot, I think it's only appropriate that we continue, but we plan to the downside based off that. And I actually want to get rid of. I don't think Marathon's going to come all the way back down to the $16 level. It doesn't really make sense. I thought I might do a more fundamental overview of this because I was under the belief that when these, I think that's why it rallied so hard because the fundamental belief behind Marathon and Galaxy, oh sorry, all these other minor companies is that they were heavily underwater in the bear market, obviously due to costs and Bitcoin being cheaper and not turning over as much of a profit. But I was under the belief that when Bitcoin was between kind of 40 to 50k, you can see it getting to 40k here, 50k here. That's when they were back in an operating profit and they were printing money. So I might go look at their financials and do a deep dive of their financials and find out the average cost or what they require Bitcoin to be. But in any case, just looking at this, it's made a pretty clean 382 retracement and bounced. I'm guessing this trading was to do with Bitcoin today getting dumped to 50k and then we've come back. So I might actually, I can't trade it on BingX. I can trade it elsewhere, but maybe looking, I guess this gap's been left behind as well. It kind of makes it a hard kind of trade. I'm going to leave Marathon for now. We can come back to it. MSTR, I'm just going to leave it the same. This is pretty much just following the exact same as Marathon. These stocks just follow. It's like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin 53k dump. Yeah, so, but we'll keep a look on those. Coinbase another. Actually, Coinbase has put in its yearly high in line with Bitcoin. I'm telling you, these stocks literally just follow Bitcoin. So maybe if you're a bit risk averse and you want to trade something that's based on Bitcoin, that's not Bitcoin, go and trade Coinbase. Go and trade MicroStrategy. Look at these two charts. You tell me. You tell me those two charts are different. Someone in the chat, please tell me if these are different, or am I seeing the exact same thing? Pretty much. Am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. Maybe no one's listening to me, but if you want to see two stock charts that are two completely different companies that look identical because they're both based on Bitcoin, then there you go. Who needed an ETF, hey? Just needed to, hey, one sec, just randomly, I went to the supermarket on the way home for my haircut and bought some milk and didn't put it in the fridge. I'm just going to quickly put that in the fridge. I think you guys can still hear me as I walk to the fridge. Alrighty, back. Alrighty, let's get into Bitcoin now, the fun stuff. Get all the DXY, stonks and boring stuff out of the way first. Bitcoin, interestingly enough, why don't we take a look firstly at some local price action. Starting off with that long yesterday that I triggered or that I provided the setup for, which, funnily enough, I want to actually, because to that trade, funnily enough, is that you guys might see, from time to time, I'm not trading locally or whatever, and then I'll just send in, a random setup that's like this, right? And the idea was, I'm actually just going to go clean chart. All I did was pull a fib from our last major low to our new major high. Let's just get rid of this junk. So, let's go, my bad. So, it was from this major low to this major high. Let's just get rid of price action to there. It's a very cool tool, by the way, if you guys didn't know how to do that. I figured a lot of you might not actually know that that's a tool you can use, this replay thing. It gets rid of... So if you want to just go and study price action past, but you don't want to see price action past that point, so, I can go to here, right? And it just shows me like that. Pretty cool function. It's actually really handy. But in any case, going back to what I was saying, we have that, replay, let's just go to there. And this trade idea, right, was, all I literally wanted to see was, in the market, there was significant bullish absorption. So if we go to Coin Analyze, I shall actually just get a new window up, Coin Analyze. And I made mention of the first thing in the morning, mentioning that, given the significant bullish absorption in the market. Now, what's bullish absorption? Bullish absorption is when a large limit buyer, or limit longer, is absorbing a huge amount of shorts in the market. So as I was showing via the data, CVD was making lower lows, right? So, you know, low, 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 etc., etc. Whilst price, you know, was kind of making high lows, right? Like even from, if you just draw from the similar point here to here, you know, it's making high lows, right? Making high lows on this trend. So the idea to me, and obviously explained via XO charts, is that my assumption here is there's a large limit buyer or limit longer in the market that's absorbing a ton of these shorts. So they're trying to short these highs and into a crash into Bitcoin, yeah? So I made the comment, I said I'm looking for scalp snipe entries into BTC on little dips because the probabilities to me that market makers or exchanges reverse price in order to stop a ton of these shorts out that are being carried from these major highs here is very likely, right? So what I did was, whilst I didn't legitimately trade it because I made those reasons known, but I was telling you what I would do and what you should do, is simply, it was a trade with my stop there, entry there, and what I did was I made a very good point of, I'm going to identify a take profit area. So what happened was in the initial trade is before I was stopped out eventually when price came back down here, was on this scalp long, it was TP1 here, which was the perfect rejection technically. Then I held the rest of my size, and if I had held, and I ignorantly did not expect what to occur overnight, and I was unplanned, which to be honest was bad, is price went up to 53k. That's a $2,000, you know, 12-hour long. Like, you don't take that for granted. That, so I'll give you like a little example of what this trade. I took 20% profit here, right, of size. Let's just say I'm gonna do a little example here just to show you how clean technically trading golden pockets can be and how profitable they can be. Because, alrighty, so I've come here. Let's just say full size scalp. What does that mean? 1% risk. If my portfolio equals 50k, I'll make it a bit more realistic, like what you guys would. Maybe let's just say 20k, 10k. Let's go 10k. If my portfolio is 10 grand, right? 1% equals $100 risk. You know, let's just go with 20k. It's gonna make it easier for the simplicity of this exercise. And my entry, let's just call it 51,371. I think my stop loss on that, let's just call it 171 here, right? So it's an even $200 because I want my invalidation, a little bit of breathing room below the last wick and below the GP. That's what my idea was. Alrighty, so if this, and let's just say, alrighty, so that 1% risk, $200. And let's say that, I'll give that to $200, right? So one Bitcoin size, yeah. So sorry, I'm confusing myself here. No, I know how you guys get confused. One Bitcoin size, right? One whole Bitcoin. If price moved from 51,361, let's just say 371, sorry, to 51,171, which is my stop loss, I lose negative $200, right? If my size is one Bitcoin. Because my stop loss is $200 wide. So one Bitcoin, I'd lose $200, right? Which equals negative 1% incurred. That is strong risk management. That's a 20k portfolio, right? And I would play it to that stop loss, and I would have lost $200 off my 20k if I was stopped out on the short. However, let's just forget that I TP'd one here. Let's just say I carried this all the way up to, and let's just say I set a full scalp TP at 53k. That there is, so let's just say 53 price reach. Let's just say price reached 53, once again for simplicity purposes, reached 53,371, so just slightly a bit higher. Once again, that's a $2,000 trade. That's a 10R scalp in less than 12 hours. You know, what was this? This was yesterday at 12 p.m. It was literally 12 and a half hours. On the New York Open last night, we made this candle. So just to relay that to you, that's 12 hours. You could have done a 10R Bitcoin trade on my setup yesterday. And obviously, I know that's best case scenario, fully closing up here. And you wouldn't have, you would have TP'd here, you would have left a bit running, you would have TP'd up high. But I'm just trying to show you guys like how easy it is to trade between simple Fibonacci structures with data, having the knowledge of bullish absorption in the market, and understanding that the most likely scenario is a huge squeeze to get all of this liquidity above this high, above these major highs. Like I sent so much information into the data channel yesterday over and over relaying this. Bullish absorption, bullish absorption. I'm favoring longs. I'm not TPing on my longs. I'm holding my longs because I know that the liquidity sits up here. The liquidity sits up here. If a large limit buyer is continuing to just absorb all this shorting, all this selling, and all the shorts in the market, well, eventually those are going to get hunted, right? It's just how the market goes. It's just how the market works. It's pure PvP, player versus player. And that was the result. As simple as a BTC scalp that could have got you anywhere, I'm going to say, between an easy 5 to 15R type of setup. So, I just wanted to show that quickly locally, that setup yesterday, why I was so confident on it. Why using the data, the bullish absorption, bearish absorption, and all these different things, and why it's important for you guys to go back over that module, go on Coin Analyze, do it over and over and over, assess it against price, assess it against open interest, understand, okay, this is what's happening because, I say to a lot of you, e.g. like yesterday, and I used to be the same, right? I'd learn off other traders, I'd listen off other traders, and they'd be able to identify these golden pockets and this data, and they trade it, and a perfect TP up to here. I'm going, how is this guy a magician? It's you guys have the content and the knowledge and education to do exactly what I did yesterday, and in identifying what I did. It's just about time in the market and experience in the market. No one becomes, a professional at this within 2 days, within 2 months, within 6 months. It's going to take you a year. It's going to take you maybe 2 years, maybe someone 5 years. Maybe it will take someone 3 to 6 months. But just know it's all about time in the market and experience in the market. And even just touching on, I could probably go through like so many different. Because I want to make you stress the importance of golden pockets because I feel like people kind of don't actually really get how much these are played with like in crypto and how often you can trade off them. Um, like even here, right? You go a local bottom to a local high. Every single retracement and wick. These are 30-minute wicks, so it's not like if I go an hour candle, all just wicks through it. Look how clean that looks on this golden pocket, right? One scalp, two scalp, three scalp. You could have done 3 different scalps off of just this. Obviously, you wouldn't do that. You'd assess the data. Maybe there was a cheeky little pocket here that provided confluence. Different metrics obviously, but like I can just show you over and over how much these are played with. Like, do I? I'm just gonna draw 20 of these here. Like, like, yeah, put in the low. Alright, we're gonna retrace up to where we're gonna retrace to perfectly. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I, I can draw hundreds of these for you guys. It's just over and 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 over. So I honestly, if you guys want to do it, I did this once at the end of last year with parallel channels with you. I just got on a 15-minute chart and I just drew 100 different parallel channels up until the weekly on the entire bear market of Bitcoin, and I just decided and looked at them all and decided which ones fitted most of my theses and structurally. I don't see why you can't get a 15-minute chart and do the same with golden pockets. Locally draw every single important golden pocket pivot that matters to you. Identify. Well, does this feel like it's a relevant level? Well, 50k flat as a psychological level that perfectly aligns with these highs sounds like a perfect retracement idea for me to long Bitcoin, right? Let's draw some more. This is just an educational exercise you can do. And then again, okay, well, what if that level of support's lost to? Well, our last pivot low was actually right on the 618 of this full retracement of this entire impulse move. Once again, that aligns with these lows. It's just, yeah. I don't need to say too much more. I think you guys are getting the idea, but going through and doing this would be highly beneficial to you, even in a local range as such, and just going, wow, I cannot believe how much, these are interacted with, how much golden pockets are honestly, even if we drew to, yeah, it's just silly. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. At the moment on Bitcoin, as you know, I was actually stopped out of this long because what's happened is I've come from here to, sorry, this range is confusing me. From here to here, along to here. I TP'd one here off the rejection. I went to bed here, or here. I was so exhausted last night. I moved my stop to entry to remove risks, and then so now I'm out of the trade. But let's take a quick look at the data again because um, this is still even on a higher time frame. If we go, I don't like doing this on a higher time frame, but like you're still gonna make the argument that we're making high lows even on a trend like this, right? High low, high low, high low, high low. But it's just, if you go back to here, that's when the data becomes a bit more flat. However, still up here at these highs, this is still significant bullish absorption to me, even from here to here. And as a result of this, knowing that a lot more shorts sit in the market than longs, we did wipe a lot of them out, but you can still, even if let's get up XO. But, on higher time frames it's a bit harder. Even if I'm going to take a quick look at high blocks, probably worth us doing that as well. But let's just get a high block. 7-day, and I'll get up the 1 month. So we got the 7-day, so it's looking to me like actually a lot more liquidity is sitting at that 50k level. So, once again, even that idea of retracing to the 50k psychological level, just looking at high box 7-day, majority of that liquidity sits right here, where people probably broke out long out of this section here. But, decent retracement idea now there, knowing that I have the knowledge that majority of liquidity now sits on the buy side. We've still got a heap up here, but I figured that would have wiped out on that wick up there a fair bit. Even if we go to the 30-day, okay, yeah, majority of it. 30-day kind of irrelevant. I'm going to get up the 12-hour now because, 12 hours obviously irrelevant to us. And okay, majority of the 12-hour liquidity, of course, sits up there mid 53k because everyone's shorted the swing failure. Makes perfect sense to me. But, as a result of this bullish absorption and divergence existing in this market, this is a very clear divergence between price and CVD, is that I'll look for longs as opposed to shorts. And so you can see how this trend of, that would have been shorts being wiped there. But, well, shorts and longs really. But you can see how CVD shorts have kind of increased in the market and CVD's lowered. So that's why I'll be looking for, similar to yesterday, different local ideas that I'm not going to try and run through now because, this live stream's been going a long time already. Multiple stuff ups on me talking. But, even if we were to make this local high here, yeah, it's all very interesting. I'm going to have to take a further look into it, but we can identify some Bitcoin setups soon. Let's take a look at ETH quickly. ETH sits above 3k. As I was kind of stating before, if you kind of just go to the weekly chart on ETH and you look at it purely from a weekly perspective, it's insanely clean. Because, we have our last weekly high, or last that we opened on before, the true bear market really started in that May of 2022 month where we fell below 2k and stayed below 2k until, 2000, late 2023. So what's that? Yeah, a year and a half longer. And come up, we rejected it to merge, came back, rejected again, flipped to support. You can see the multiple flippings and retests of this SR flip because really it includes this lower wick as well. But retest of that SR flip that we've made true now. But then even going to here, we got okay. After that we had one more weekly candle. All right, wick through, reject, wick through, reject. Wick through, reject, and then finally reclaim the support. Then we get to this first one, we've been battling that all week. Reject, 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 claimed. Just go straight to the next one. Look how clean that is, reject. So, really, this is just the levels I'm watching on ETH now. I don't feel like you have to get too cute on it. I'm literally just looking at it, and it's like all it does is operate on week-to-week level at the moment. And really, I have full size. I have not taken a single take profit on my breakout long, which was a breakout of this level here. So that was my exact entry, 2719. So I've been able to trade ETH, in a couple of days, 10% direction. And I'm just holding because, that major golden pocket to me, given it aligns with those highs, just prior, it just makes a lot of sense to me. Even if you go to the kind of weekly structure. And we front run those highs, which ETH can front run a bit, but it seems like this area in here between 3,350 to 3,500 is a great area to TP because then you have multiple weekly wicks above that, but then it's just clear air really and all-time highs. But I don't know how quickly ETH can get there if it sees this level. But in any case, this is my goal. You guys always see the infamous Sorel magnet, and you'll see it once again here. Um, and if it's not soon on ETH, I've spoken at length in the podcast. If anyone listens to that, and generally listens to me dribble on live streams prior, is that my idea with ETH fundamentally, if you want a bit of a fundamental view, is that it has the Denken upgrade in March. It has a few more upgrades incoming that should overall make the blockchain a lot better. It has ETH Denver at the end of March. Usually Maxi's come out of that saying all this bullshit and being all bullish. And then April we've got the halving, usually get an alt season thereafter. But more importantly, in May it's expected that an ETH ETF will get approved. So essentially, if you wanted a fundamental explanation of Bitcoin, what most people generally like to say is from, let's say October when we bottomed, or I think it was August, September, whenever it was late last year when we bottomed at 25k. That rally from 25k to 48k where we topped at the ETF was essentially a front run of the ETF being approved. So now people, assumably, I'm assuming will do a similar thing with ETH, where ETH has this, the 70 to 80% chance right now being accepted, just as Bitcoin did. Well, people will just accumulate, and buy and buy and buy. Similar to think about the merge, right? So, like, we were still in a fucking horrific bear market here, pretty much. Not horrific, but we put in our bottoms, but we hadn't, had reason to truly rally. Everyone just bought it into the merge, and ETH retraced a good from the merge, 32%. So, um, you know, maybe it gets a negative 20% pullback like Bitcoin did from 3.5k to 3k or something after it's accepted. I don't know, but just speculating here that that's a decent fundamental thesis you can have behind the technical thesis of reaching 3.5k. I do believe that ETH is silently forgotten about as well. I have not checked the chat in here in ages, and I fear I may be missing what you guys are saying. Oh, sorry, Danny, am I working now? All good? Anyways, but yeah, that's the idea behind this kind of ETH rally and this ETH idea that I have in mind is, if you want to put your mind at ease, the technicals that if they don't make sense to you, I'm giving you the fundamental explanation. So, as noted, with my ETH long, what I'll do on the cautious side, I think, because I'm being a bit reckless here, I don't like not TPing and whatnot. It's just I know what's on the horizon if we do truly break out. But I'm going to, that's 2965 level, which represents that first weekly high that we rejected from multiple times and flipped to support. If we go back down to retest this again as an SR flip and bounce, great. If we probably lose it, I don't want to watch my ETH long retrace all the way to my entry. I'm probably going to take a pretty strong take profit of say 50%, and maybe carry 50% higher. My stop's already at entry, by the way, of this trade. There's no need for me to move it otherwise. I'll tell you if I change that otherwise in any case. But yeah, really that's ETH. I'm not going to look for any local retracement ideas. I'm not looking to hedge short here. Really just letting the market do its thing and let it carry my trade. And just manually reacting otherwise, as I said. So if I see a break below this level, I'll probably TP. If I see us carry higher, then I'll just carry higher, etc., etc. But just watching it and hopefully seeing it come to real fruition because the weird thing about this morning and overnight was alts got crunched. Like, you can see my trading view here. Link's almost $19. CAS is back in the 17s. GMX has held up pretty well, I think. We made a retest of that. If you don't believe in technical retests, check out that one. But it's good that we've reclaimed this level. I think we can carry higher. I'm still haven't TP'd on GMX either. Something I need to watch. I'll probably treat it the same as ETH, that if it loses these two levels, like ETH loses its current two levels, then I'll probably TP and reassess because I carry both GMX and ETH on spot, so I'm not missing out as such if my trades break out. And I've closed my leverage trades a bit, so it's always why I like to trade trading academy coins because I can hedge, I can compound, I can treat them a bit differently to something that I've never ridden before. But in that case, in terms of Phantom, this has been a hectic trade. Phantom got as low as 40 cents overnight. Yeah, 40 cents overnight, which is fine. It failed to really reclaim at first. 43 cents level, that was my main TP level. Touch 44. I want to see this reclaimed. If we probably come up, I'm going to set some alarms around this now. Um, if we come up and probably reject from 43 again, and don't really reclaim 43.5. Sorry, I removed a lot of alerts. Oh no, I already had a lot of them there. Look at all my alerts down here. That's when I'll probably think about TPing. So a very similar thing to F and GMX is that I'll just manually monitor this. Obviously, the things I've been like seeing in the general chat, those people like Danny and Bobby and stuff, just doing their own risk management and taking profit and knowing when to do that themselves and not just copying me, because my context is completely different. Might hold different things on spot, or you might be desperate for a win, or just getting your scalps out of the way. Please do your risk management based on your own context and your own risk assessment as well. Don't just carry things higher because I'm carrying them. Make sure you take profit, move your stops to entry, blah 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 blah. Um, but what I will do now is I'll move on to the part where you guys want your charts done. Just looking at OBS to see. This has been going a long time, but kind of said it would. Alrighty, we'll head to TIA. This was Kragos's coin. Obviously, the last one. Well, it's interesting to view my TIA chart that I had. Is that it was that, which looks kind of bearish. Uh, and I wanted to retrace ID this golden pocket to get in it. Okay, so now it's looking. I will leave that level just there for now. Where does this level come from? Okay. Well, it looks like a pretty nice level at 15 level and this 9 level. I'm going to say both are pretty good retracement ideas. This is not going to happen in a secular bull market. If we continue to get a bull market, TIA is not going to retrace 50%, so I'm not going to bother telling you to try and trade that probably. Because I think I had this idea, when TIA was more at 15-ish or like testing this level. I was keen to see if I could get something there. But I think this golden pocket here is more viable because A, it aligns with our significant last low that can be swing failed. So Craig, it might be that we set alarms. Now this isn't a downside. I think the market carries higher from here, just so you guys know that. So a lot of these downside setups may never come because we might not ever carry lower. But doesn't mean we can't plan for them. But we have had a trend break somewhat, but not really, because if I'm gonna, high low, high high, 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 high low, it's just continuing upwards to you. So, it's not breaking its market structure. But if we can get a chance where, let's just say this was its last proper high low, I'm on a 4-hour chart, if we go to a daily, and we consider this, its last high low, and it's going to put in its next one here, then it can get a perfect swing failure where it'll grab this lick under this low, put in the next high low, and bounce as such. So I would definitely trade that, Craig. That's a setup. I would trade with tight invalidation below the GP, something like that is what I'd look for most likely, because A, it aligns with a significant our last low that we're yet to sweep. So that if this low got swept, or these lows got swept, obviously this is the next one to be swept, and I would look for liquidity to be grabbed under that low, which I'm guessing a lot of people longed, given it was a quite a significant horizontal level, and then longing off that golden pocket at 618 and hopefully having my invalidation sit under. So I've set alarms around that. I'll actually trade this if we get it, because I don't know if you remember, but I was trying to trade TIA at about $4 to $5 for us on leverage, and now it's at 20. So, but really that's all I'm looking at the moment, Craig. I reckon it looks pretty solid, to be honest, and is seeing a decent correction. Really, what I would have looked for on TIA if I was focusing on it, and I had the chance, was very similar setup to FET, right? In that we have, ATH put in, swing failure of a major high. Even if you look at this cleanly on the daily, it made a swing failure, retest, and I would have hopefully had a hedge long, hedge short, so see on TIA against the market, against my other longs, as such, in case the market dumped. But I'm guessing there's a fair few people short on TIA right now as such. But that would have been a perfect short idea, Craig. But, as mentioned, I'll look for that long idea off this level. Hopefully something we can get. It's just TIA's a pretty strong coin in this market. So going from 17.9 down to, 15.8, 15.6 could be a bit tough. But that looks like the most likely horizontal level for me that gets tapped, just given how significant these lows are, and it kind of looks like an SR flip to me, right? Like reject, 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 come back down, retest, come back down, retest, come back down, retest, come back down, one last retest, swing failure pattern, then make new all-time highs and price discovery. That'd be a sick trade. So I'll set my alarms based off that, Craig. I honestly haven't looked into TIA too much. I'm just doing this all scratch for you. I haven't looked at the chart prior, so I'll set alarms for that, Craig Ross, and hopefully I can get you another beam job. All right, Tony. Now let's take a look at FET. The short that I missed that is now would have heavily been broken out of, but this is my cute little Bybit chart because all I did on FET was buy it at 18 cents and now it is pumped to $1.09. So I am happy with my spot. I can get rid of the magnet now. But if we let's go to a 4-hour chart. Actually, we'll go to the daily first. So as I presented to yesterday, and Tony, are you here now? Are you in the chat? Just because I'm showing you this now. In case you have any further questions. There, Tony. Alrighty. So let me just to clarify, your question was, do I hedge with certain specific percentages of my portfolio based on the spot I hold and additionally the longs I'm running now? Me and Tony spoke this out yesterday, but for anyone else that kind of is curious on it, I'll just get that conversation up. We had a few conversations yesterday, you and I, Tony. Yeah, anyways, I think about the notion of is I need to be careful about when I say to you guys hedging, because hedging in essence is hedging so you're kind of flat, and I understand that the wording there is wrong, but really all I'm saying is that I just want to take a technical short, or let's say the market's really bearish, right? So the market's coming down and I'm short on a ton of assets from this, but FET's reaching major lows. It might be that I just want to take a long because it's a technical setup as a hedge against a lot of shorts I'm running that are heavily in profit, that in case we reverse the other way, that I'm not left bag holding, right? And then all my shorts are losing money. It's that I'm hedged the other way. But my idea is that we still continue lower. It's just for that brief moment that we do get a reversal of a technical level of an asset, that I'm at least making money on it, right? So the perfect example is FET. But it happened so fast, but I still could have made so much money from it, right? So I identified this level as our last major highs that I said I wanted to have that magnet there for weeks and weeks and weeks in the training academy. You probably almost got annoyed about me saying it, but and so the idea was, we're going to range up to this level on FET. I was going to hedge short on a swing failure of it. So price comes up, price grabs all the liquidity above those major highs. Price then reversed down as much in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. Price came down negative 16%. Now, it doesn't look like much, but that is a killer trade. Once again, if we want to use the example to you of, 20k portfolio size, 1% risk equal $200. It's very easy for me to do it with this dollar thing. So, actually, no, I'm not going to bother going through this whole thing. You guys have heard it before, but essentially, you could have made, 10 to 15R trading this just that way. And it didn't matter that I knew FET was going to continue higher. And I think that's the point I was trying to make to you yesterday, Tony. Is all I was saying to you is I was just trading a technical setup and just mentioning it as a hedge. But I didn't have to mention it as a hedge because I didn't care that I had longs anyway. I just wanted to trade a major swing failure of a major high, because that's a bearish. If we go through, we retest, we grab the liquidity, and we fall under, that's just a technical setup I need to execute. I really don't care. But doesn't mean I treat it the same as most swing shorts or whatever. I was treating it as a hedge and saying it was a hedge because I knew we would carry higher eventually. So I was saying I just want to hedge against my longs here, get some money the other way, but ultimately I probably know will continue higher, and I'm continuing to hold my longs and not taking profit on those. So does that kind of clarify it? Like when I say I'm hedging, like it might not be that I have an F long, a BTC long, and this, and this, and it equates to X amount of my portfolio, and I'm going to hedge X amount on the other side. It's just ensuring that I know I can trade the market both ways. Because I think that's where most people get caught out is we come in here and all we want to do is long. This is the prime example of showing you in how in a secular bull market, FET went from 60 cents last Sunday, 69 cents to it's doubled in it's doubled in 3 days, guys. I still could have traded this as a effective swing short from $1 down to 87 cents and made a truckload of money, right? And it didn't actually matter that it's doubled in price, and I still pulled off that trade. Could have pulled off that trade from that technical setup I showed. In any case, is that all good, Tony? Does that make sense? It's just literally just ensuring I've got the psychology to know I can take a short even when things are bullish. And hedging for me isn't a specific. And I'm going to say this right now, Tony. If you want to go full knee deep in hedging and working it out to a factor that is perfectly flat mining your portfolio, you can do that. I just do it off feel and experience, and I just feel it works best for me. But feel free to do that as well. You had one more coin. I'm hoping that Craig's the luckiest man in mining store. Let me just revisit that tier setup. For whoever's listening and whoever does eventually watch this, just know that this setup most likely hits purely just because it's from Craig. Absolutely no other reason. I don't actually think Tia can go to $15 again, other than it's just Craig wanting this setup, and that we could probably print 1 billion return on this setup. This is like the setup. This is the type of setup that Craig is going to give us, like a $15 to $54 type long. But anyways, I'm counting on you, Craigos. So hopefully you pull through for us. Yeah, all good, Tony. Yeah, it is a bit too much work. I agree. Um, what was the other coin? Sorry, I wrote them all down so I didn't forget. The ILV. Now, some of these projects I'm not going to know what they are. I do know what ILV is. Because I've looked at it before, but I cannot remember for the life of me what it does. There you go. Well, that was the last time I charted it. The last time I charted ILV, which is crazy when you think about this, right? So the last time I charted ILV would have been from its major high, right, to its major low. And like say price obviously hadn't gone past this point again, so I hadn't charted it since November of 23 last year beforehand. Like look at where price literally just topped out at. Like, well, you can't make it up. Like, it's literally the major high we put in overnight was from the exact fib I pulled when I last charted this. So, anyways, okay, so what the fuck? Oblivion Gaming, was this like the Axie Infinity of the last run? I think it was, from memory. Axie Infinity of the last run? 40 billion gaming valuation without actually a working product? Is that the type of setup we're running with here? Looks like it. Yeah, something like that. Well, to me, very, 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 very distinct SR flip here. Very distinct. And a very, very distinct major pivot here. Because you've got insanely integral lows. The upside on this shit is crazy, but it just looks like the stupidest chart ever, so I can't take it seriously, Tony. Because it's like it's hard to work with because the historical fractal pricing of it is so much like it was trading at over 1,000 in the bull market. We're not even at 100 in this bull market. In any case, if I just draw boxes so it's a bit easier, I'm very clear SR flip, right? Kind of reminds me of what I just showed you on Ethereum, yeah? Let's just call this the Ethereum merge. Make up, we put in a major lows, come back, merge happens, let's just call it fucking Illuvian Gaming, brings in a racing car into its game, everyone gets excited, sells the news, resumes bear market, comes back up. It's now trying to attempt to do that SR flip that that Ethereum has done, that you're seeing on a lot of altcoins right now, and it's why a lot of altcoins look bullish to the upside if it comes off. but heavily bearish to the downside if it doesn't, right? Because I go to a lot of altcoin charts, it generally looks like this. Like I'm looking at this chart right now, and it reminds me of the Phantom chart. Like I just know the Phantom chart off by heart. So look at this chart, and then look at the Phantom chart, right? Um, so, so you get a major pivot. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. You get a major pivot, the last major pivot before the bear market resumes. You have a ton of lows that then align with this SR flip, but you then also have the bear market SR flip, which is like, right? So it has lows. Dude, I cannot believe how similar. Am I the only one seeing this? Can someone please comment in the chat if they are seeing this like I'm seeing this, going from alt chart to alt chart? Or am I just going crazy here? But let's just look at this like it's Ethereum, yeah? Last major pivot, bear market resumes. Trade, trade, trade. The merge incomes on Phantom, or Ethereum if that's what you want to call it. Sell the news, bear market resumes. And now it's looking to eventually flip this to an SR flip where then its next major target is literally a 2x. There's literally no resistance technically in this chart. You know, maybe you can argue a bit in here to right up here. Yeah, literally. So like it's like for things like Illuvium Gaming and Phantom, like it's like if it makes this SR flip and it gets out of its bear market accumulation rate, this is all just accumulation. So it can get out of its bear market accumulation range, it goes straight up to $1.15. If I go back to Illuvium Gaming, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Sorry, Tony, I'm probably not. My bad. Illuvium's in a bit more of a distinct spot, but and it's higher, much higher. But like, look what I showed you. It has that very similar consolidation like Phantom does on the way down too. But from its last major pivot before the bear market resumed, you pull the fib down to its major low, you get its major golden pocket upside retracement that then aligns with its prior bear market lows that it held initially before dumping. And it has an SR flip that it's attempting to flip that when it does, you know, it can land up here. And that's a 4x for Illuvium. And then for Phantom, it's a 2x. Illuvium's just on a much more large scale. But if I flip between those two charts, you know, you tell me that they're different. You know, I'm going to try and make it a bit more clearer. It's annoying because it zooms in for me, but look at that. And look at that, right? It's just without my fucking scribbles everywhere. But very, very similar, Tony. But in any case, I think high time frame wise, this looks really good or really shit. And you said it best. But yeah, it's good that you're following what I'm saying because, right, this is an accumulation zone, and it reminds me of chain. Okay, so this setup here and Phantom setup here works if it turns into a chain link. So let me remove everything. But so this is Illuvium and Phantom right now, and their bear market. Where the fuck? Parallel channels. This is Illuvium and Phantom. You know, it's had its major pivots. It's got its lows here. And now it's trying to get out of this SR flip of its bear market range and then head up to its next major pivot, which is that golden pocket that I'm talking about on the other ones, and actually break out and start to do a 4x, 5x from its bear market lows. Phantom's only done a 1x. Sorry, 2x. I don't know what Illuvium's done, but it's probably way more. Nah, 2x, 3x, yeah, so very similar. It needs a break out of this bear market accumulation to get up to its next point. But in saying that, like I said, if Illuvium can't, it's almost like an easy short. Even if it was like a swing failure of this major high here. You know, I'm not favoring these setups and I'm not saying they're not going to break out. I'm more on the bullish side because I know what's ahead. But it's important to still understand, take a look. But in terms of Illuvium, are you looking for like setups, or you just kind of wanted to generally know how it looked, Tony? Because it's had a very nice downtrend break here. What I like to do is, guys, with my parallel channels, is I'll draw a trend line first like that, and then I'll see if I can make it work with a parallel channel. It's not really, it wasn't that clean. This is on the daily. If you're looking for a retracement, do you hold it on spot, Tony? Is that what you've got? Oh, what's the go? Because you can make the argument, right, that this is a range. This is deviation. Yeah, from 42 bucks. I think it's pretty good. What I would probably suggest is literally dollar cost averaging if you ever saw this again, this level. I think that's a very reasonable thing to say. I reckon that'd be around the 382 as well. Sorry, that's 786. Right on it. You're in a pretty comfy spot, I reckon, Tony. It's looking pretty good, and you got the narrative behind it as well. In terms of leverage trades, it doesn't look like to me locally there's anything that really stands out to me. I guess it's kind of just similar structure as both of us have been noting. There's just these mini ranges it's falling in. You can always look for local GP retracement ideas, but looks like that happened overnight. Perfectly. Right into it. Um, yeah, we'll move on. Rick IMX. Haven't heard of this one before. IMX. And Cal, guess what IMX is? Cal knows what every coin is. Maybe he's not there anymore though. Oh, okay. I will take a further look at it then, sorry. Value or what it is. Is that what it is? IMX value? What does value mean? It's valuable coin, Cal? Is that what you're saying? They're Aussies. Huh. Right. Didn't realise. Oh, Mutable X. That's what it is. Yeah, they're at all the conferences, aren't they, Cal? I'm just going to identify some lows here that stick out to me. Tony, for shorts, it's literally just the swing failure setups of the highs. There's nothing else unless you want to structurally base them up. A couple of founders from Melbourne. Gotcha. What do they do again, Cal? Immutable X? What the fuck is it? I'll treat that. Yeah, it's very reasonable. There's lick above there. Yeah. NFT platform on F, that's right. NFTs. Really hard, Tony, because there's absolutely zero historical structure. If you understand what I'm saying, like we can really only chart it from like here onwards. If you kind of understand what I'm trying to say, I mean we can pull from this pivot, but it just doesn't really look that integral to me. This pivot, like, you make the argument of this one. I don't really know. Actually, you know what? Maybe this represents the 5 AFib. Yeah, let's roll with that for now. To the upside, Tony, for me, if you're looking to head short, it's definitely a sweep into this 5.0 fib, but this liquidity area that represents the last highs of the bear market. So, this is July 2022, 6 months after, but that's when Luna, 3AC, bear market really crashed. These were the last major highs that are unswept. Lick. So Tony, it would be just literally this sweep into major fib retracement, which is our last major high. So that's what I would look at, Tony. I think that's pretty viable. Let me just know if you're following, but I would draw for my last major daily high in June of 2022. You know, sorry, that's what I meant. But we came back down. These are the July and August highs that are yet to be swept. We kind of swept this last daily major candle high. But, there's surely a lot of liquidity sitting in here, a lot of interest. So I would look for a sweep into the 5.0 fib, which would touch this liquidity, get a rejection back under, and I'd probably hedge there. I think that's the reason why this is better to hedge up here as opposed to trying to sweep this high or sweep this high or sweep this high, is because of what I was talking about before. And even if we see this major level, Tony, that's where I'd be hedging, because you need to have a bit of a wider look of the upside, right? So, as I kind of say with Chainlink or ETH or other ones, or why I took breakout trade on ETH, is because I knew once it got past a certain level, it would then go to a much higher level due to structural resistance. Now, there's no structural resistance on this chart. I don't know much about it. I don't know whether this is just some huge shitcoin or whatever, but, technically it has no resistance in here. So, it's perfectly fine for you to even hedge short with a larger position here than 1% or 2% if you really want to hedge. As I was saying, just do it by feel, because you've got $40 buy down here. You should be fine risking 1, 2, 3% here if you probably know the result is a 10x of your bag up here. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this is making sense. But so every different hedge, every different style, every different experience is going to be different. Hence why I don't roll with, what you're asking about. Is it so specific that I'm hedging a certain percentage and I'm covering off so it's flat? Nah, just by feel. And this is one you should definitely do by feel as well. But I think you're on the same page as me. Immutable X, NFT platform, Australia. Okay. Geez, Rick, would have liked a tip on this. No, I'm only kidding. That's the Binance chart. Let's see. Is there one? Is Rick here? No, don't think so. Immutable X. Geez, they must do alright. Don't think we can leverage trade this. I'm gonna take a quick look at my Bing X. Perpetual futures. Has anyone ever traded this before that's here? Immutable? No, okay, it's not on Bing X, so I can't trade it on Bing X. I'm guessing he just wants it because he holds a fat bag of it, so I'll do that for him anyway, but I won't look for long or short setups. It's hard because I can't get the full historical data. That's the crappy thing. But in any case, this looks good for Rick because it's breaking out of that bear market accumulation range, right? Which is, most likely this. Last major pivot high. Yeah, that's just looking really nice for you, Rick, I reckon. Really looking nice. Bear market accumulation like Chainlink. Flips the major over fib. Retest the GP. Reclaim the 786. Rick, I can't honestly chart this a lot but you're seeing that, because I don't know if that's the last major high, but this is a pretty significant level here, Rick. You got this last major I don't know what the hell this shitcoin is, but on one day it pumped from $3 to $5 to put in its last major high. If we pull that fib down to its bear market low, I can get rid of these. You can see where it's topped out at and what the significance is. This is because then this last major red candle was swept right into 618, 65 golden pocket. So if I was you, Rick, I don't know if you can leverage trade this, but I would head short here if I was holding a ton of this on spot. Seems highly volatile too. What's its market cap? Let's Coin Telegraph, of course. Coin market cap, Immutable X, IMX. This is way bigger than I thought. I must be I'm not in the know about Immutable X because it has a $4.6 billion. Okay, it's almost in the top 20, and it's an NFT platform. Can't be. Layer 2 scaling solution for NFTs. Well, I have no idea about NFTs, my friends, but anyways, um, I would be hedging short here, Rick, but I think it's very similar to the immutable gaming one here with Tony that just do it on feel and experience. Right now, you guys are in positions that are much lower, obviously, and you've been able to ride a narrative that is gaming that has exploded, right? This has done 5, 6x in the last few months, so there's no need to try and, I know we're technical traders, but, sometimes just have some logic. This this very, very project can carry a lot higher than other ones just because of the narrative. But still doesn't mean you don't have to hedge short at very important points. But you're not too far off Athi, Rick. So good luck, my man, if you get into price discovery. But this is probably where I'd look for hedge shorts. The chart's not very clean technically. I'm guessing because it's an NFT trading platform. But in any case, retracement ideas can be this golden pocket, which would retest prior consolidation highs pretty perfectly. But that's all I'll show for that. Good on you, Rick. He's got so many more to go. Probably shouldn't have asked. Uh, Everyone, I've been so slow, I feel like, on this live stream. Matic, Bobby. I know Bobby's not in any Matic trades, but he just loves Matic. So, what essentially happened with Matic, to recap, I've commented on it a few times, is uh, pretty much we had a setup on Matic like this, right? And I sent through, I can probably find the alt setups, alt ideas. Matic. I got a Matic. Sorry, 1 second. But yeah, so this setup was showed to you guys, as late as 23rd of January, in which it was simply a sweeping of these major candle lows as a swing failure, grabbing liquidity under. I've taught you guys over and over and over about this pattern, and it's my strongest pattern to trade swing positions in is a swing failure, of course. And the idea would to be to grab the liquidity under these lows on a serious downturn of a major high. We would then break this local downtrend line, and as a result, I was targeting a major monthly candle high, which aligned with a perfect major monthly golden. Sorry, it's a major golden pocket pivot, right? So I've rewinded, to show you that exact thing where I said, here's the major setup, here's the major lows, sweeping liquidity. Additionally, on that photo, didn't have as well this pivot golden pocket, which is from these major lows to this high. Then, so once again, this is one of the cleanest setups you can get, and one that I'm after is a swing failure into key major pivot lows, into a sweeping of the 618, into a breaking of the downtrend. That's as good as you can get, and why I would call this a high conviction play, right? I've rewinded price, but like you can see what happened, right? Like it's I'm not a magician. I'm not teaching you the future here. And once again, like I even had this line drawn up here for this major high. Like you can see how well, I'm not magic, I've just learned all of this. And price comes in perfectly, sweeps to exactly where I'd envision. I even drew the back test, this is everything I'm asking for in a trade. It's come in, swept the major lows into the major 618, into the major golden pocket. Price is then V-shaped reverse. It's come up. It's then back tested to confirm this level of support now and that demand is there, and V-shaped recovery. And if you traded this and traded my setup, this is over a 50% trade. Um, I'm not even going to tell you how many risk returns that is based on take profits, but if you've just held this as a 50 plus R trade, easy. So it's, increasing your balance by crazy, simply just holding a swing trade based off a swing failure of major pivot lows. Obviously, I've had this as a major target of mine. You might as well show that. So if you are in Matic or you're holding it on spot, which Bobby I assume you are, these major highs break first. Wouldn't mind a swing failure type setup on this major high, but I'm not going to trade it. And the reason why I'm aiming for those is because I'll show you on the monthly. See, major pivot highs. This is a major monthly pivot high. You can even almost draw it on here, I suppose. But this major high first, if we pull the fib from the one prior, then the golden pocket retracement to these lows perfectly aligns with that. So that's definitely where I'd be targeting. Along if I was still holding it, unfortunately, if you want to know what happened to me is, I traded both Phantom at the Pico bottom and Matic at the Pico bottom at the same time. I was going mental in my brain and decided a day into those trades to close it and move to BingX because MEXC was sending me nuts, and I just needed to get my funds off that exchange. As a result, I've missed a 50R trade, so that's life. Thankfully, I was able to get a retracement in Phantom. Matic did have a retracement, I didn't quite catch it, but that's just life. But that is Matic for you, Bobby. So essentially, I wouldn't be trying to short any of these. Maybe a swing failure of this setup, but I'd be looking for actually a swing failure hedge on this major monthly candle, which aligns with this major monthly golden pocket. And that's where I would hedge short against my spot and my leverage positions if I had it. Because once again, we continue much higher, I feel. And Matic has a very good foundation and fundamentals that can make it explode in a bull market. Obviously, I know what's on the horizon. I know the upside that's potentially there. So I wouldn't just blindly short every setup I can get. But if I've got the chance to hedge, I'll hedge. And as should you, Bobby, if you've got a big bag of Matic. So that's Matic. Knackers, Arbitrum. I want to speak Arbitrum quickly, fundamentally. On March the 23rd, Arbitrum has a token unlock of roughly 1 billion tokens, or about 25% of the total supply. So what that means is these tokens get released onto the market to investors and advisors that they've probably invested in 2 to 4 years ago. Generally, the idea here is these get dumped because people in cost of living and whatnot want to make money and just want to, some people, given it is March 23 and that is in, exactly a month, and then exactly a month out of the halving, they might want to hold it. But I think for you, bag of knackers, it's trying to time a huge retracement idea on that. So I would use both fundamentals and technicals here to try and time an insanely good. And I'm not actually discounting as much as, it's a lot of tokens. I don't know what people will do, but this is my greatest SR flip level and dumping level of Arbitrum. If we saw a huge dump, 25% of the supply is a fair bit. I think a lot of it is vested over a 4-year period. I need to look into more specifics, but if you're looking to trade ARB, these are the, I know I'm a very technical trader, and you guys know I like to block out all the noise. It doesn't matter to me the news, blah blah blah. But obviously, you can use fundamentals as well to enhance your leverage trading, and this is one of them. Yeah, okay. You can see where we beautifully topped out at. Wonderful golden pocket. But I reckon if we get a huge downturn in the market somehow, in line with ARB's token unlock, then this is a very viable level, and I'll be trading it. And I'll also probably buy more on spot potentially. My average buy of Arbitrum is 90 cents, so pretty much as low as ARB can get. On the Trading Academy, we bought it at 75 cents on that daily low. So we're absolutely printing on Arbitrum right now, and it's one of our highest conviction plays with 15 units on it. So yeah, I'm really looking. If I can get a leverage play on it, great. I'm not too fussed though, but yeah, really for here, could probably head short here if we came up and swept this daily candle high into the golden pocket. But then your invalidation is quite wide there, right? Like you're gonna have to kind of play it like probably here to here to here. It's a bit of like no man's land. Um, I would probably look if we got bullish enough. I don't know if it's going to reach $2.40 again, but a sweeping of the major high, which we saw on FET and a few other things recently that usually occurs. You get a 10 to 15% rejection on, just fully close the trade, re-enter and re-hedge. It's fine. But those are my two major ideas. I reckon I'm not looking to get too cute on ARB locally. Given this token unlock is coming up, you probably don't want to be using high leverage and trying to do real short trades. I think it's going to be a bit of a bitch to trade. Arbitrum kind of coming up. So I'll let you know that, Knackers. Maybe research the token unlock that's happening in a month, and then begin to really map a trade around that. So March 23, 24, 25, let's just say kind of a week after into the halving if we can get something. But I don't think this will happen, by the way. Just something I would plan for if they did dump a lot of the supply tokens onto the market. I do need to check the chat in case any of you have said anything. You haven't? Oh, Danny's asked the ICP. Let me just get through the others, Danny, and then I can take a look. Kadena. Where's my mouse gone? The fuck? Why is it invisible? Oh, there it is. Kadena I've got here somewhere. Kadena. Can anyone see it? Am I blind? Yeah, I must be blind. I fucking swear I had Kadena charted. Ah, KDA. Whoa. Did I chart this for you sometime late last year, Andrew, or something? I feel like I did. Here's the Bybit chart. I'm actually going to get up a more historical one. Jokes. They like delisted this from everywhere, Andrew? The fuck? Anyways. Yeah, is that in the chat? Alrighty, let's get that up. I'll compare it. Alrighty, what, do you have Bybit chart up? Yeah, I'll use the same chart as you. Alrighty. So yours is on the 1D. Got your... I think you've drawn your pivot from there, have you? August? Yep. I'm gonna be as accurate as I can with this. I reckon it's slightly front run that, but it's still valid, Andrew. And your question was maybe long at 382 and short GP resistance, or hoping more long at 600, 600. I was thinking. Because this is very high time frame, right? So like you're only charting on the daily, but likes the front run, doesn't it? So in both cases, right, from this major low to this major high, if you planned sweeping into the 618, you would have been front run there and missed the entire trade. And then if you're planning to then sweep all of these lows, sorry, like then if you'd pulled from our bear market low to our recent high in December last year and plan to re-long a sweeping of this major daily candle high into the 618, then you would have been front run like 100 times. So Kadena's not being very nice, but in saying that, sorry, let me get yours back up. Your 382 is around $1.19. Yeah. So it's interesting what you present because I feel like you're still trying to present a very retail in the nicest way possible, Andrew, trade to me. Now you've seen the way that I operate and where I like to long and how the best of my trades come off, and they are what longing off support. Your idea here is that this 382 currently is huge resistance. We lost it, come back down, tested it once, nope. Tested it twice, nope. Alright, did we go for a third time as resistance? Nope. So what you're presenting to me is a breakout trade of resistance. You're not trying to long support. You're hoping that we climb up, we can claim these wicks and the 382 as support, and then you want to long off here up to this GP here, which is a breakout trade, which is fine, by the way, completely fine. I don't mind your idea. But what I would probably ensure is because you're basing this off a daily kind of, a daily time frame, is that like I don't know if over 3 days it's just going to hover at the 302. You're going to get back tests where you're confident enough that you can long this level as an SR flip, with your stop under it, because like even off on any given day, these are daily candle wicks, right? So if I go to like a 15-minute chart, it might be for 18 hours that day, it was over the 382, and you might have thought like, oh yeah, we've reclaimed the 382, we've been above it all day. I'll just long up to the GP, and then you've been stopped out 3 different times trying to do that, and you could do it. It could happen to you a 4th time. So if I go to the hour, okay, it wasn't. But it was here, right? So like, 4 hours we're above it or trading there on it, but pretty strong rejections to me. So in any case, not a bad idea. If you do want to kind of trade that, go for your life. But once again, I'd be looking for confirmations. Go through that module again. I'd be looking for, a reclaim of this level. And when reclaiming it on 15, 30-minute candles, back testing it and holding it as support so you know the demand is there to then carry higher. Something you could additionally do to aid this trade would be to, assess the data. If you've got the data available on CoinAnalyze or ExoCharts, maybe see if a ton of people are trying to short this area of liquidity again, and that there's just such a ton of liquidity that maybe they want to rip it a bit higher because everyone's trying to short as opposed to long. But what usually happens is here, right, is everyone has your thinking. They long here, and that's why price reverse is so easy, because everyone's trying to do what you're trying to do, right? No one wants to do a quick scalp short from $1.19 down to $1.10 over and over and over, even though it's profitable. They want a long from $1.18 to $1.67. It's just human instinct. I'm the same. But yeah, that could be your idea, but I reckon this is a better idea, just despite it being front run a number of times, Andrew, is a sweep into the major 618 from our bear market low to our most recent high. That would front run the major 618. I would then look for a retracement to this 618, a sweeping into this high, and then a bounce on the 618 with confirmations, and I try and swing long back up to this GP. In any case, you can still try the breakout trade, as I said. You just want to be very careful with it and ensure you're doing the right thing, or else it could be a very fast stop out in understanding your invalidation and whatnot. So is that all good? Have I explained that well? Yep, cool, awesome. But yeah, I'd definitely look for this level, and then if you want to break out, yeah, just make sure there's confirmations and a back test and whatnot. And then I'd look for here for probably shorts. Danny, ICP, Internet Computer. Uh, I don't chart this coin. Do I not have it on Bybit? This is why. Doesn't exist on Bybit, I don't chart it. It's just interesting though. ICP's top 20, is it not, Danny? It's got to be top 20, top 15 even? Or top like 50 or something. I swear it's top 20. Yeah, it's 16th. What the fuck? Um, why is it not on? Oh, it is on Bybit. Oh, weird. Um, Sounds like a bunch of bullshit internet coin anyway. Um, Irrespective. Uh, okay. Are you still there, Danny? Still listening? Are you like up in a crane somewhere? What's the go? Where are you? You're just like looking over the sky view of Sydney? Maybe you're not there anymore. I'll still do this for you anyway. Very, very similar to Fandom, but very, very similar to IV. What was the other one? I don't know. Um, but let's take a look, right? Bear market accumulation. Yeah, nah, you're right, Danny. All good. Um, Alrighty, let's take a look. Pretty clean, technically. Oh, you're rigging it at the moment. Nice. Well, just in case of ICP, it's very similar to Phantom and what I was showing before to Tony in that, it's got a very defined bear market range where, it's got lows that it's tapped, it's come up, it's made a perfect 382 retracement from, its last major pivot high before this bear market really resumed from its prior lows. It's rejected from a very key technical Fibonacci level, retraced, even if we look at that, I'm sure that retracement is probably a pretty clean one as well. Probably the 5 fib right on it, as I guessed. Um, and you'll get able to guess these things, right, when you guys get more experience. But no, it's as clean as it comes. Perfect rejection at the major 382 retracement. Retraces a perfect 50% of this entire move, re-rallies, and now I'd be looking. You could probably try and do what I was trying to do with Link on some of these coins. Is I was trying to break out long for SR flips. I did it on the F, so don't worry, breakout trades are fine, just as long as you know what you're doing. And I did a breakout on the F major high, right? And I broke out traded $300 or so. So, um, you could try something here. It's just the invalidation becomes very tough on breakouts, particularly when you see it go up, fake out, and just come back down and stop you straight away, and then it re-rallies and goes up. It's just a fucking pain. So, you need to be careful, but you could definitely long it up to this major high that perfectly sits on that 6-1 major retracement level from our last pivot high before we really entered the bear market. In any case, if you're looking for shorts, it would be a swing failure type setup of this recent major high put in for sure. Ton of liquidity and a ton of people would have shorted the 382 retracement. They would have planned for this for weeks and weeks and months and months and months as it represented these last lows as well. Prices come up, tapped the 382, gone slightly above, so now there's a ton of liquidity from short sitting in here. So I'd look for a swing failure type setup where it grabs that liquidity, rejects back under, and you could head short there for 1%. If not, you could always try and trade it flat even and try to trade the breakout the other side. It's just you risk losing 2 trades at once. If comes out, stops you short, comes back down, you trade the long out of the way, fakes out again, then stops you out on the long. But you've got 2 ideas there. If you're looking for retracement ideas on internet computer coin, yeah, okay, so this is probably rejected from the 786. Bang. Once again, not a magician, you guys will get used to this. I would look, yeah, I'm not too keen on internet computer retracement ideas. They have to just be deep ones as such. This one would be representing these major highs. It's kind of similar to Arbitrum one. It's just like the retracement is a 50% drop from here, which I don't think happens. So I wouldn't probably be looking to long this on any high time frame setups. Probably just breakout long or head short up here, Danny. Alrighty, crew. Alrighty, was there any more coins that anyone wanted me to look at? This has been an hour and a half. Definitely the longest one we've done. Sorry if it's been boring. Long stream for sure. Yeah, it has been. Thanks to my usual homies for coming. Andrew, Tony, and Danny. Thanks for coming, Michael, as well. I believe that's you there, Michael. Hope. I believe that's you. If you're still there, Michael, and you've just been listening along, thanks for coming to the first one of yours. By the way, Michael, these are usually only 30 to 45 minutes. Today's one's just been extremely long. There's stuff around and that. I asked for a lot of charts, but hopefully you took a bit out of it. It was a bit all over the place, but hopefully you learned a couple things, because that's the goal of these. As long as you guys pick up one new thing from these, I think they're worth it. So, yeah, all good. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks heaps for that. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it as well. I'll post this so you can rewatch any parts of it. And what I'll actually do is, because it was so fucking long, and you might want to rewatch it, I'll quickly skim through it and I'll timestamp it. So, DXY's first 5 minutes, stock markets, blah blah blah. IVF or whatever. IMX was here to here. I'll timestamp it for you guys so you can rewatch it a lot easier. And apologies that, yeah, this one was a bit disorganized with my planning and whatnot. As you guys can imagine, my week has just been absolutely hectic and whatnot. I'll be exhausted. I'll make sure the next one's a lot better. Alrighty, thanks guys. We'll stay in touch in the chat. And any updates to any trades? As I see F losing 3k slightly. Yeah, we'll see. Alrighty guys, we'll stay in touch. Cheers.